address. And Mr. Mark DiPasquale from the Boston area, Syracuse University. I would like to introduce him, who's going to address us today on the value and the meaning of the program. Mark has been a member of the scholarship committee for, I want to say, 2 or 3 years now. This is not your first rodeo, close to it, but not your first. And I really appreciate. I've known Mark for a number of years. I know him as a member of the of Habitat for Humanity and a number of other civic organizations, and I'm thrilled that he's here today to address us. So, Mark, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. My face is usually not bright red like that. Not sure what's going on with the camera, but yeah, I mean, I was happy when Alex asked me to speak. I think I can talk about my experience at SIU and just all the wonderful things. I could go on forever about it. So it's cut me off at an hour and a half. Okay. But I was just up in Syracuse the last couple of days. My daughter's a sophomore there. And every time I'm there, I take a quick walk around campus and kind of relive some memories. I of course walked in front of the SIU house, and the memories just come flooding back. And I every time I look at it, I know I would just give up everything I'm doing right now and go back in a minute. I think there was a bunch of years back, my son, I have an 18-year-old son who's going to be a freshman at Syracuse next year, and hopefully a SIU. But when he was probably 6 or 7, we were walking through the house in the summertime. And in the summertime, the SIU house takes on a distinct flavor that can only be experienced to be appreciated. But we were walking through, and he's picking up bottle caps over in the corner, and there happened to be a couple of active guys there, and so we started talking. We immediately started talking about stories of the old days, and my wife and daughter and son were there as well, and I just instinctively said, yeah, I would give it all up and come back, and I turned, and my whole entire family was looking at me like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You would leave us all for this? And there's a part of me that would, but it makes me very jealous of all of you. You're in the time of your life. Please savor it and enjoy every minute that you can possibly get out of where you are. I do want to offer my congratulations to everybody. This was not an easy process. It's less about congratulating you for getting an award and more for just applying. It's quite an involved process to go through all the recommendations and writing the essay in amongst the time that you have on your schoolwork and other activities. And really, I started thinking about that. And what you'll find during life is sometimes just that simple act of taking a step forward is what it takes to set you apart. The fact that you applied, there's a relatively small number of individuals that apply for the scholarships compared to how many active brothers that we have. And so it's always amazing to me that, that sometimes if you just pick up the pen, you open up the application, that might be just enough to get you ahead of the next person. Too many people in this world, I think, wait for the world to come to them, and they end up missing out on opportunities just by not wanting to put in that little bit of effort. And it's gonna take take for example your journey in SIU. There's some mystical force in the universe that drew you to SIU. It may have been you just wanted to go to parties. Maybe you were already career minded and was thinking about what kind of networking opportunities there might be in the future. Or there's a cool looking house with a great parking lot. That was always, the telltale thing at Syracuse. Our house is the closest one to the quad. It's right on campus, beautiful old house. You can see it from everywhere. And as soon as a rushie would walk through the door and you'd say, well, what brought you to SIU? And they say, oh, you got a great location, the parking lot's great. Immediately we ding them, which was our phrase for just, that's it, you're not coming back here. But for whatever reason, you walk through the doors knowing little, if anything, about what you might experience. And if your pledge process is anything like mine, you learn things like the history of the fraternity. You may have learned the chapter role, some famous alumni. You had to learn the first, middle, and last name and hometown of your pledge mates and the senior brothers, or, you know, a whole bunch of different various things. And also you learned the standards by which we conduct ourselves as people. It probably didn't take you very long before you realized that this was something special. This was not just a bunch of oak paneled walls or a place to network for your career or place to go to party. This was something that was special. It's you're starting to feel what is the bond that is like really like no other that you'll ever find in any aspect of your life. You'll have workmates, you'll have friends from the town you live in, but there truly is no bond. And you don't realize it at the time, but you've met the people who will be an integral part of your life, literally forever. You'll be there for them, they'll be there for you. You've joined something that's much bigger than you ever bargained for. It's really a forever bond. I've long since stopped trying to even explain it to people. Really, nobody gets it, and if you've ever tried, you know exactly what I mean. But you know, you could talk to friends that are outside the Greek life. They have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. They have a very distinct image of fraternity life, and it's far different than what the reality is. Even my friends in other fraternities at Syracuse or in other universities, their experience just had no way even came close to ours. And not even my wife or family. I mean, they really have no context for their appreciation for what we've been through. She gets that I'm still friends with guys that I knew 35 years ago. She knows that when there's a Syracuse game down in Florida, 10 of us will fly down and go see it. She sees the look in my eyes when I'm in Syracuse and I walk up to the pie, but they really don't get that depth of the bonds that hold us all together. My daughter, as I mentioned, is a sophomore at Syracuse. She's in a sorority. She's starting to get it. My son, who is going to Syracuse next year, he wants to get it. He's on the outside looking in, and he kind of sees all the people that I've been close to, and these people have been with us our entire lives. And so you don't have, unfortunately, a whole lot of time left at school. It goes by so quickly. It might feel like a long time, but then before you know it, you're a junior, you're a senior, and then you're out in the real world. So, you know, consume as much knowledge that you can. And by reviewing your applications, this class of people really have done that. As Dick had gone through, your GPAs are phenomenal. Your ability to communicate what SIU means to you is very important. Your recommendations all speak very highly of you, and it's a very impressive thing. The Syracuse motto, I won't attempt the Latin, but the motto is knowledge crowns those who seek her. And it's a fantastically concise way of putting it. And I've always appreciated that motto. So take it all in, but not just SIU. You know, join clubs, travel abroad, meet everyone you can, and hear their views and appreciate what you learn about other people. But it is very important. Get involved in your chapter for many, many reasons. As a new brother or a newer member, you may just be requested to just show up. You know, showing up is a lot of, as I said before, just making out the application. Showing up is a big piece of this. Work hard, be involved, get to know the other brothers, find ways to help. And then as you move up, There's committees to chair, maybe rush chairman, social chairman. This is to show your ability to manage people and to stay organized. And then move on up to an officer's role. It's a fantastic experience for the future. As I was looking through the applications for the scholarship, I definitely felt myself looking closer and harder at the ones that were Archon or senior officers. And as an Archon myself back in the 80s, I knew what awesome responsibility that came from. You're basically the CEO of an organization, and you're responsible for absolutely everything that happens inside and out of that the fraternity. And so at every step, you want to take whatever role it is, if the new brother, committee chair, or an officer, take it very seriously. Show what it means to be a leader, lead by example, and show everything that embodies SIU. In my career, I've told countless people that being a leader in SIU, and I had been everything from rush chairman, third vice president, first vice president, and then Archon. That experience prepared me to do what I do in my career. And I was the CEO of a decent sized organization in my 30s, and then started my own business in the 40s. And so I have, 50, 60 people in my own company now to manage. Being in charge of SIU and moving my way up through the organization there taught me so much about working with people, and people from diverse backgrounds, different styles. And it's very important. That transcends your entire life, whether you go into a nonprofit organization, you want to be in corporate world, you want to be a professional doctor, lawyer, whatever avenue you go, you're going to need those personal skills. And our chapter, and I believe everyone else, they run like a business. Our product, we weren't a manufacturer, but our product was fun. That's what we delivered. We delivered fun and some community service, and we had events, and that was our business. And so it needed the workers, it needed middle managers, it needed senior managers, and it needed officers to survive and thrive. And so I highly recommend, when the opportunity presents itself, to hold your hand up, volunteer to be a chair, work towards being an officer. And when the time comes, hold your hand up and say yes, and just do it. My dad would always tell me when I was a kid, he'd say, becoming a leader is sometimes very easy. All you have to say is, I'll do it. And you'll find that a lot of people will just hang back, and they're happy to let other people lead. And this is, again, something that you'll use for the rest of your life as you do this. Now, being a leader is a little bit trickier. I mean, you have to do a good job. It's not, you don't just get the job and let things happen. You actually have to make it happen, and you have to set an example for other people. Too many people just, I think, stand back and let life come to them when the crowd will just let them run by. So in our chapter, it might be different now, but also you didn't really run for office. It was kind of a different process. It was a kind of behind the scenes thing where you were recognized for the different types of services you created. You kind of subtly let it be known that it's a role that you would like. So while you're still in school, don't lose sight of the fact that you go down this path but once. Don't be too anxious to get on with your career. There's plenty of time for that. It's really coming much sooner than you think. Enjoy that safe nest that the university environment offers. be present, be in the moment, literally take it all in. When I was dropping my daughter off freshman year, we walked down the road and I just said, listen, just take advantage of absolutely everything you can at this place. There's so many things going on. And before you know it, it's going to be over and you're going to be on to somewhere else. And picking her up on the ride back from Syracuse to Boston, we talked about the fact that it's 50% the way done, and that's quick. I don't know if you guys know the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's Alex will know maybe, but he had a great line in there. It said, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to look around, you'll miss it." Excuse me. As you make the transition to the next chapter of your life, that four-letter word work, you're going to constantly draw on the skills that you've learned and the friendships you've made. These bonds that you've made will help you in more ways than you can ever imagine. And some will be very outward and some will be very subtle. But it's still up to you. You got to do everything you can do to set yourself apart. Honestly, it's actually simpler than it sounds. You don't have to do some crazy thing just to set yourself. It means zig when everyone else is zagging. So, all right. So that's kind of vague, right? So what does that mean? It go beyond the minimum. Be the one that asks, what can I do to help here? If you at any organization, applies to while you're at at your chapter or in your career, be the one that's in the office when everyone else is working and running errands from home. It's a very different environment than it was when I graduated, and many people are just great. I can kind of work from home. I can do that, but there's a downside to that because it's a little harder to get noticed. You're only in the room when people want you in the room through a Zoom call. If you're in the office, you're zigging when everyone else is zagging. You're around when that senior manager's looking around saying, hey, who's here? Who can I throw on the special project? Oh, that guy's here. I see that person here, 3, 4, or 5 days a week, and they're always have their hand up looking to do more. They're not asking about, they're not asking about what's in it for them or how much time off do I get or what are the benefits or all these things. They're just looking at it saying, what can I do for the organization? They're putting the organization first. And when you get noticed, you get promoted. And when you get promoted, you get put in a position to help other people. So don't be misinformed. Business is a meritocracy. This is not youth soccer. There are no trophies for showing up. You do well, you advance, you get promoted, you get paid more. You get put in senior positions of authority and responsibility. If you focus on yourself and just your own personal immediate needs, it's a short-term thinking and it's going to end up holding you back. Play the long game and put your organization first, and it will come back to benefit you tenfold at least. And as much as I like to emphasize the more personal aspects and the bonds and friendship aspects of SciU, there is no doubt that it's a very powerful networking tool. You will without a doubt lean on this network of people, whether they're in your immediate chapter or people you'll meet through SciU National or through the national Facebook page or LinkedIn, whatever way it is, you'll meet people. Alex and I met each other after I graduated college through SciU National, and we've shared contacts with different things, and it just comes up quite naturally. But having SciU as part of your background, though, really is a distinctive aspect. If I get a LinkedIn request, and by all means, if anyone wants to send a request, please do. If I get a LinkedIn request, I always scan through it, and it's like, all right, how does this person, why did they reach out? 90% of them are, they want to sell something. If it says SAYU in there anywhere, immediately connect. It's an immediate message back. Hey, how are you? What can we do to help each other? I'll talk to anyone that reaches out from SAYU. Uh, I seek the counsel first of other members of SAYU, and largely because I know that the first priority is the brotherhood, and that bond that we share, and that shared experience that we have. So there's an immediate trust. Even if I've never met the person in my entire life, I have no reason to trust them, mistrust them, any other aspect. The word SAYU on a piece of paper or in a profile embodies an immediate level of trust that is separate and above any other type of relationship that I have in business. And I know just from conversations that I've had with other alumni, that they all feel the same way. So seek any alumni that you can, ask for help, ask for referrals, ask for whatever, and you'll find help. And then there's life in general. So outside of careers and things, so you have a life to live, and it takes many different aspects. We had a phrase in Syracuse called, and it was "brother needs help," and you would say this. It was, I think, mostly invented back if you were in a bar and a couple of guys get in trouble and they need help immediately, you yell, "Brother needs help," and you got 15 guys there backing you up. Doesn't happen often, but it was there, and a very useful tool when a SU lineman wants to pick on you for the night. But that concept transcends all different areas of your life. So you're going to encounter many ups and downs. You're going to have the brothers at your side. As you experience highs and lows of your careers, you'll have brothers to celebrate with you when you get a great job, and you'll give you a place to sleep on when you lose it or you run into trouble. You'll get married, maybe. You'll have a family. Brothers will be at your wedding, and they'll console you when you get divorced, if you get divorced, sorry. As you need a shoulder to lean on, there's going to be a brother there for you. When you show up in town for a business meeting in a place you haven't been in a while, in a long time, you find a brother that maybe you haven't talked to in 10, 15 years. And the next thing you know, there's going to be 5, 10 guys meeting you out for dinner or to grab a quick beer. That's happened to me when I went to San Francisco several years ago, reconnected with a couple of guys, and I hadn't seen them in, I think, 12 years. And literally it was one text, and I was there for one night, and he said, "I'm going to come and we'll go hang out." And then there's times, maybe a parent passes away. I was in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, fraternity brothers, mother passed away. 15 guys flew into Pittsburgh and were there lined up at the wake. Very, very powerful. And then I've had to experience this too many times already, even at my age, but there's going to be tragedy, or there's going to be sickness. And you can count on brothers holding their hands as people pass on. Welcome Brothers is a song that I know we've sung probably 25,000 times. But there's a line in it that, and if you notice a pattern in most of the SAYU songs, there's kind of a early, middle, and end of life kind of process in there. Not to go down too dark, but because this is kind of a recent thing for me, there's a line that says, may our last faint faltering breath, ere 'tis hushed in silent death, breathe the sweetest of all words, SAYU Salam. And it's a it's an extremely powerful sentence. Having recently lost a fraternity brother to cancer, you realize that this is really a forever bond in every meaning of the word forever. So what is Sayu to me? To me, it's the warm blanket of confidence I sleep under, kind of knowing I have the diverse set of extremely loyal friends who all share a remarkable bond. It's ultimately about being a good person. And, I've told this story before many times with others, but when my son was very young, I'd tuck him in at night and I'd say, be a good man. And, he had no idea. He kind of just would hear it every night, night over night. And he had no idea that the depth of that single phrase, or it's really, for me, its roots in Sayu, but he didn't need to. I'd go on to expand on it as he got a little bit older, and I'd say, it's not about, being a good man. It's not being perfect. It's not about doing good deeds all day. It's not about being good, for that matter. It's about doing the right thing when no one's looking, which is the definition of character. It's about your character. It's admitting you've made a mistake and then fixing it. It's about having fun while still being respectful. It's about working hard and giving it your. It's about being loyal to a fault. It's about knowing when you need help and for helping others. For me, that's Sayu. So congratulations, each of you, for holding up your hand. It's kind of a big deal. You've earned it. You should be very proud, and congratulations. As I mentioned, and if there's anyone that wants to reach out, if you're ever in Boston, please reach out. I'd love to share a beer, swap some stories.
I'll pay.
And go on from there. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.